Okay, yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. Today we're going over the Greater Phoenix Metropolitan Market Statistics for the week ending July 27th. Let's see what we got. 80 days closed on market this past week, a 4.34 month supply. Absorption rate was at 23.05. Average list price this past week, $708,429. Average sale price this past week, $569,630. And our list price to sale price retention came in at 97.32. Looking at active inventory, continuing to decline down to 24,589. Pending is at 3657 and closed units month to date at 4754. New listings taken this past week, significantly lower than we need, but 1,697 properties were added. 92 is our days on market for active and 80 for closed. Lower left-hand side gives us the price ranges month to date on all of the active inventory that's out there. So you get a chance to see the number of units in that category, the days on market for that category, and the percentage of the total inventory that category represents. As far as 0 to 600,000, that's representative of 68.40% of the MLS. 600 to 1 million is 19.19, and those properties that are a million and up are at 12.41. You know, we always talk about the market taking off and prices going up, and the cost of everything is more expensive. And just looking at the total numbers here, if you look at that bottom number, 12.41, so properties that are over $1 million. Now, I've been doing this since 1998, doing these market statistics, and I can tell you that on average over this whole period of time, $1 million and up properties have always represented somewhere between 9 to 11%. So 12.41, 1.5% more isn't really that dramatic of an increase, but again, just so that everybody understands where the prices fall. So we look at the spreadsheet where everybody gets to be the expert. We have week over week, month over month, same period last year, all on one sheet for you. So new listings taken. Way over on the left-hand side, we have rules of thumb for those of you who might be new. So what we're trying to do is accomplish those numbers on the categorical sides on the left, because that would say we're in a really super market, but it's more importantly, it's the last 5-year historical average number. So for the last 5 years, historically, we've been averaging about 2,400 per month. Per week in new listings taken. So 1697 isn't really all that exciting. But when we look at this number a little bit to the left, we see 1647 is where we were last year, same period. But 2 years ago, we only did 1500. So again, we're looking for the silver lining if we can, but we're also looking to identify trend. The market is very similar to what it was last year for the sellers from that perspective. Looking at active inventory, we're sitting at 24,589. That's up just a little bit, of course, week over week, down just a little bit week over week. But 24,956 is what we had last year. So we're about the same inventory. 2 years ago, we didn't have quite as much. But of that inventory, 498 of those are in the coming soon category. 18,652 are single family detached. 2,516 are new home construction properties. Again, fell out of escrow spec, maybe a production model, move-in ready, or again, maybe even a builder trying to incentivize people to come out to a new community. That's what that number represents. Obviously, there's many more new homes for sale out there. Non-distressed is at 23,997 overall. That's 97.6% of the entire MLS. Looking at pending is the number of buyers in the market at any one time, as listings are the, talks about the confidence that sellers have putting the property on the market, getting their price, walking away maybe from that 3%, first mortgage, but they feel confident they can find a new product and move into that. Pending is the buyers in the marketplace. So at any one time, what is the pending number? So 3657 this particular week, down just a little bit. That's good. That means some of them probably closed, not necessarily fell out of escrow. 3629 is where we were last year. Again, very, very similar numbers. 3,435 a year ago. Closed activity for the month is at 4754. We were at 4711 last year, same period. So again, we're still similar, but what we're really looking for is we're looking for another green month. If you slide your eyes to the right and you see the two blues, that's usually when I give you the blue columns. That's when I give you the month over month statistics once a month. And during that particular time, you see that 7.61 better in the market this past year than the year before. 4.31 the month before that. And so we're really looking to finish 2026 strong because we started 2026 soft. So if it all works the way the numbers say they're going to work, then the fourth quarter will end up being just as good as the third quarter, and that's saying a lot for the for the real estate industry. But the numbers are there that support that. So we get down to the statistical thing, which is 4.34 months supply, about similar to what we had last month, similar to what we had last year. Look way over a little bit further to the right in the goldenrod, 2.63. That's saying that we were obviously significantly in a seller's market. You remember that. We all remember that 2 years ago. Well, we're not in that market right now, but we're at 4.34. So we're still hovering really close to that 4 number, and 4 and under is a seller's market, and 6 and over is a seller's market. But again, these are just some of the numbers so that we understand. And like we say, if you're representing a buyer, you come from the perspective of it's a buyer's market, period. That's your diligence. That's your job. When you're representing a seller, you come from that position of it's a seller's market. I'm going to get my seller all the money I can possibly get for this particular property. Again, within reason, showing comps. And so, taking that into consideration, knowing what the real market is tells you what you're going to end up expecting. If you can win because you're a better negotiator, super. But because that's the market we're in, to the victor goes the spoils. The person who negotiates the best right now is the one who's going to get the better deal. And that's just the way the market goes. And it's good because, 4 months supply, 3 to 3.5 is a sweet spot. So, again, we're in a good position. 80 days on market is, hovering right in that 78 to 80 days. That's good. That's also stable. Look at the salmon colored column, still similar to last year. So what we should be feeling in the marketplace and what sellers should be experiencing and buyers should be experiencing, at least since through last year and moving into this year, is a form of familiarity with what's going on. Nothing that's jumping out as saying, oh my gosh, Chicken Little's falling, the sky's falling, we're back to 9%, or is it going the other way? Prices were not heading, if you listen to all the national economists, we're not heading for any type of a further price reduction. If anything, we now are this year starting to move that needle back into that 4 to 4.5% annual appreciation. But that's what we got for the numbers this week.
All right.